In context actually to this debate and trying to say that in my view, no matter how many good laws you have, if the system of impunity does not go away, I mean, I've heard Professor Mwanga asking where the youth are. Professor, the youth were abducted. They were in cells. They were in safe houses. Some of them are still missing. Those who tried to sound out voices to participate in the last election, many of them were killed on the streets of Kampala. General Museveni, the head of state of this country, came up and said some of them are killed by stray bullets, what he called stray bullets, and promised that there would be compensations. We're talking about 3 years later, nothing has happened. You've not seen prosecutions. So you cannot say where are the youth. The youth actually want to participate in these elections. But if every other day they are abducted, we have a woman councillor who resurfaced yesterday after 9 days when she was missing. So to answer your question, for me, I'm trying to put into this perspective to say that the problem in my view is not the law. I mean, even looking back at the 1995 Constitution, as a constitutional history scholar, I'll say that I think that Constitution was, you know, the Constitution must be read as a whole. It was made at the backdrop of term limits. For example, that's why the president was allowed to appoint electoral commissioners for 7 years each. The assumption was that one president would be only able to appoint an electoral commission once when he or she would be involved. But you took away term limits and left that provision there. That is why you have openly NRM cadres being appointed to the electoral commission, which should be independent. So then the problem is not the law. The problem is the impunity. The problem is the rulers who do not care about the law, who want to stay in power at all costs. And as we have seen, every time the law becomes a hindrance in their way, they just kick it aside. For example, the parliament, incidentally before the last election, amended the Presidential Elections Act to say that all candidates should be given equal access to media owned by the government. But you know what happened? Our presidential candidate was unlawfully removed from radio stations across the country. I personally went around this town looking for space to advertise for billboards. And the owners of these companies said they had a ban. They couldn't allow us advertise. And some of them were frank. They said the last time Dr. Wesley was allowed on some of these companies to have billboards, actually, some of these companies were slapped with billions in taxes and they ran out of business. So no one was willing to have the Honorable Chagulanyi Sentamu Robert on their billboards in Kampala. So is then the problem with the law, or is it the impunity? So my view, ladies and gentlemen, good enough I'm here with the intellectuals and the educated class. Let us rise up and fight impunity in this country. That will be the solution to this, our country.
Mfenge ekibiina kye NRM kakati omuntu okulowooza nti owe NRM bw'ayogera oyo ye eddoboozi lye teryetaagibwa, naye opposition bw'ayogera eddoboozi liba ly'amaanyi. Ffe abantu abafa ab'e NRM twababuuza ku nsonga eyo, bagamba kirala n'abalala bagamba kirala. Ekibiina ekiwangudde obuyinza okuva mu 1996 paka kati bw'ogamba nti nno kyo tekirina bantu be kibuuza, kiba kukweka mutwe mu musenyu. Sigambye nti nno ekisooka sikkiriza nti byeyongera bweyongezi. We twatandikira nga buli kibiina mu 1980 buli kibiina kyalina akasanduuko kaakyo, nga DP yalina akasanduuko kaayo, UPC yalina akaayo, UPM yalina akaayo ne CP. Olwaliro ffenna tuteeka obululu mu kasanduuko kamu. Ekyo kimu. Ekyokubiri, ng'abantu tebabeerawo nga balonda. Bw'amala okulonda tambula ogende, obusanduuko ne babusitula ne babutwala ku ssaza, emmotoka z'amagye ne zibutwala ku ssaza ne babalira eyo ne bategeeza abantu ebivuddeyo. Olwaleero omuntu waddembe okusibawo olunaku lulamba n'ava ku polling station ng'ani amanya ani awangudde ni ani awanguddwa. Ennongosereza yaleetebwa ne baga nti amagye galekerawo okulondera mu barracks. We twogerera amagye tegakyalondera mu barracks.